like definitions given by different management gurus, and how those definitions we can implement practically even in our library day-to-day functioning. And what we have seen, the management of any organization, including the libraries, is nothing but the management of material, management of space, building, management of documents. Of course, that is also part of material, and also the manpower, the human beings. Of course, the persons or the manpower who is managing the library is also human beings, and the persons who are using the library also, they are what we call the human beings only. And we have got a relationship with both the manpower involved in managing the library as well as the users who are using our services, our material, what we are acquiring and using those materials, let it be electronic materials or printed materials, we are providing service to them, to users. As I told, the management involves the management of material as well as human power, or what we call manpower. So today, in our class, we will discuss how we can provide better services using the available manpower in our library. How we can manage the human resources which are available with us, allocate proper duties, take proper jobs from them, take proper work from them, so that our readers in the library get better, appropriate service as is expected from different persons. Of course, a library needs trained personnel in different jobs to be carried out in the library and information centers, so that right from the selection of material till we provide those material in the process, after processing and providing it to the users, providing information extracted out of those materials or those documents, providing it to users, we have to use the available human power appropriately. We have to identify the skills which are there in our available manpower. Then, of course, we may have to do certain, perform certain tasks, perform certain processes, such as doing job analysis, and same time, the job requirements to be done by individuals, and how we can allocate the proper duties depending on the skills of the staff. This type of management of human beings is known as what we call human resource management. Of course, we have seen in the principles given by BLISc that the post-carb, there we have seen the first thing is planning. You have to plan properly what jobs we are going to take from different persons. Before that, we have to analyze the jobs. What are different jobs required to be performed in the library? And accordingly, prepare a plan that how we are going to allocate appropriate jobs to different persons. This process is known as HRM, Human Resource Management. Planning is prayer, management is next. Organizing. In management, we have seen after planning only you can organize the work. So similarly, here also the manpower planning is first, and then comes the HRM. That is what we call human resource management. There are, if you see your study material, you may find some of the definitions given by management experts regarding the human resource management, what is meant by it, and we'll see in their own words of those experts how they feel about HRM or human resource management or human resource planning. E.W. Vetter, one of the management expert, and that too related with also human resource management, what he says, according to Vetter, the process by which a management determines how an organization should make from its current manpower position to its desired manpower position. Always there is a difference. You should know. The available staff and the staff you feel that there should be desired. How many staff should be there? You have to plan that by slowly. You cannot at once say that you want all the staff members. So you have to go step by step. The process by which a management determines how an organization should make from its current manpower position to its desired position. Okay, this can be done through planning. Through planning, a management strives to have the right number and right kind of people at the right places, at the right time, to do things which result in both the organization and individual receiving the maximum long-range benefit. Yes, you may have 15, 20 people in a library, but if they don't have proper skills, they are not properly trained, they are not dedicated, then what is the service you are going to provide? No. You have to put the right person, right type of person for the right type of job, so that the benefits accrued should be maximum. You can provide benefits of the available manpower to both organization as well as to the receiver of library services, the users. Another management expert, Brij, D.S. Brij, how he has defined, he says, a process of determining and assuring that the organization will have an adequate number of qualified persons available at the proper times, performing jobs which meet the needs of enterprise and which provide satisfaction for the individuals involved. Satisfaction. It is very important. If appropriate service is given, right type of service is provided to the user, then only they will get satisfied. Satisfaction, if you provide dedicated service, the person who provides service also feels satisfied. Yes, I have provided right type of service. And also the person who is receiving the service also will be getting satisfied. Yes, I received proper service from this organization, from this department, like that. Same way, there is another management guru, Magison, L.C. Magison. How he has defined human resource planning is an integration approach to performing the planning aspects of the personnel function in order to have a sufficient supply of adequately developed and motivated people to perform the duties and tasks required to meet organizational objectives and satisfy the individual's needs and goals of organizational members. Several things are involved in that. What it says, what Magison has, how he has defined, he says there should be adequate number of staff members who are motivated people, dedicated people, who are able to perform the allocated jobs nicely, so that the persons who are receiving the service also get satisfied. They also appreciate the service, and same time the organization or the enterprise also get the benefits, also gets the benefits of the service provided by the staff members. Why organization also feel satisfied? Yes, we have provided appropriate staff, we have provided dedicated staff, because every organization wants whatever the objectives or goals are there, those are to be achieved. And if proper persons are deployed in an organization to perform different tasks, naturally the objectives or the goals of the organization can be achieved satisfactorily. This is the aim of putting appropriate staff members. Then there are certain things why we need to deploy different persons. Sometimes we are required to change or replace the persons. Sometimes we may have to recruit new person, or redeployment, what we call redeployment. From the available staff, you change the duties, because there may be you want to expand the services, or there may be technological advancement, technological changes which force us to redeploy the available human resources, so that we can take the jobs from right persons who are skilled for to adopt the changing technology. For example, as I told, day before yesterday, we were discussing that up to 1980s in the libraries, there was all tasks, whatever library tasks, services were there, they were manually operated. Only that after 80s, the changes have taken place. Computer got advantage. The invention of the computer and its deployment in the libraries have changed the way services are provided or how the functions or the works in a library are managed has been totally changed. And of course, there is many times, of course, what we call opposition also from the people. The existing staff will not use the electronic gadgets, will not use this for this thing. You see, when in railway reservation, the computer internet was introduced, lot of opposition was there from the staff. Similarly, when banks introduced computerization and introduction of internet or networking, there was a lot of opposition, or the staff want that only the traditional method should continue. Why we should introduce these things? And some people will become jobless if new technology is adopted. No. How many people have been removed from service because the computer is developed, deployed in whether it is in railways or in banks or in libraries? No. There is no such worries. Actually, those are false worries, pseudo worries. There is no, of course, when an electronic or whatever type of new method has been adopted, same persons have to learn the techniques, use it in the same organization where they are working. So where is the question of becoming jobless and all? Only the thing, when you are supposed to adopt new technology, work in your organization, you will be sent for training. You will be given training, appropriate training for a certain period, so that you learn the new skills, so that you can use those techniques and work. So there is no such that is only the assumption. People think that our jobs will go away if we are asked to use the appropriate newly invented gadgets for performing our work. It will only improve the working system, working process. It will not make the people jobless. It is a pseudo assumption that deploying the things. It is only for making it. It may be possible that in beginning people may feel difficult to work on those gadgets, to work with modern technology, but slowly they will learn and get the benefit. Their work will be perfect. They will be able to work fast, and they will be getting advantage of that. There are certain, of course, every organization has to plan how they are going to train their staff, how they are going to take the work from the staff. So that process of planning the taking works from the different available human resources is known as human resource planning. And it involves this process of human resource planning, it involves certain steps to be taken. What are those steps? First thing, when you plan for deciding who will do which job, and how you are going to allocate the jobs, these things, how you are going to plan these things. So there are certain steps. First thing is analyzing organizational objectives. First thing in human resource planning is that why you are providing a particular type of service. What are the goals? What are the objectives behind? for which you are to achieve those objectives, you are providing the services. So you have to first step in human resource planning is to analyze the organizational objectives. Once you have analyzed and set up the organizational objectives, you have identified the objectives of your organization or enterprise, then what you will do? You will list out the available human resources. You have to prepare an inventory. You have to list out the human resources already available. And also you have to prepare a plan and forecasting the demand and supply of human resource. Predict how much human power you require to achieve the setup goal. How many people will be required? What are their rather required skills to perform the task? Everything you have to see and supply the human resource depending on the demand. And then you have to also estimate the manpower gaps. What is how you will estimate the manpower gaps? Estimating the manpower gaps means you have to identify the available staff, find out what skills they are having, and where are the gaps. Gaps means where are the people are there, but they are not trained. They are not trained to perform the jobs. In such cases, you have to find out how you can fill that gap of lackness of training. You may have to send to them for appropriate training, maybe short duration, maybe 1 week, 10 days. Make them where they are lacking. Are they, suppose it is a library, are they able to perform the reprographic jobs? Are they able to prepare bibliographies? Are they able to do literature search using computers? If not, before deploying, make them trained so that that gap is filled up and you are deploying them appropriately. Then formulating the final human resource action plan and what action you are going to take to fulfill the gaps, and then finally prepare a human resource action plans. What action you are going to take to make them train, to redeploy, to get the service. And then you have to continuously monitor and control. That is very important aspect. You have to monitor that the work is done properly at every stage, and they wherever required, you have to keep control over the staff so that appropriate jobs are performed on time, right type of jobs are performed, and also collect timely feedback. It is very important. Feedback means you have to get the feedback from users, get the feedback from staff. Are they able to perform the job properly? If not, what are the drawbacks? So that you can solve that problem. Problem solving can be done and you can get the work done properly. So that is very important. And then you have to, depending on the feedback from the readers, from the users of the service, you can, if required, make changes from time to time, and then you may have to provide proper service. And there may be requirement for short-term planning or long-term planning. And when it is short-term plannings, you can, if required, you can redeploy the staff from one section to other, depending on the available skills. But when it is long-term planning, you may have to put the appropriate staff, don't frequently change. And of course, if the jobs are temporary, like if you are taken a project and you may have to deploy the staff there, if duration required is long time, you may have to take long-term planning. If it is short duration programs, you can redeploy the staff temporarily so that you can do the take proper action to do the jobs properly. Of course, what are the duties of HRD, Human Resource Department? In almost all organizations, whether it is private, public sector, government organization, there will be human resource department which performs the jobs related to human resource planning, human resource management. They may do the timely analysis of jobs required to be carried out in an organization, and whether the existing staff are sufficient to carry out those jobs, or is there any redeployment required, or is there any need for recruiting new staff, selecting the new staff. Right from the recruitment of staff, then managing the available staff, promoting them from time to time, collecting the feedbacks in the farm, and what jobs they have, job appraisals, performance appraisals from the people. Are they what they have done during the year, previous financial year, what they have done? Were there any problems faced by them, what we call as constraints? Whether any constraints were felt by the people in performing their jobs? If yes, what are those constraints? Whether they need any training in satisfactorily performing their job, or any such problems are collected by the HRD department every year, and of course in a form of earlier we used to call as confidential reports, CRs. But now the term, it has got not confidential reports, we call it as the annual appraisal of performance. What jobs you were able to perform during the previous year, and how you are going to carry out it further. What were the problems identified by you while working? Everything, a pro forma is there. Whether you during the year, have you attended any seminars to get trained yourself, or have you attended any workshops? Have you attended any training programs? How many papers, if it is related to research work, how many papers you have produced, in which journals they are published? Have you trained other persons to perform the job, your colleagues or students from universities? Sometimes they are sent, in many universities, what they do, when you do your MLib, Master of Library Science, you are BLSC student, but when you do MLSC, at that time, they send you to an organization after, before the examination or after the examination for about 1 to 2 months, you are sent to different organizations, libraries. See their job, what they are doing under the librarian. And you learn the techniques there before you, a certificate is required to be given by the librarian of the organization where you got training, and that is to be submitted, telling that yes, you attended the program and learned so many things. You have to prepare a small report that is to be signed by the concerned librarian under whom you got training, and that is to be submitted so that before your final results for Master of Library Science, Information Science are declared. That is a kind of HRD activity, a type of human resource things you are learning in the beginning itself. You are getting the appropriate apprenticeship to do the job. Though it is not directly apprenticeship, but you are training, you are getting trained in your job to be performed. So all those things, such things, of course, in many scientific organizations, there is a department who takes final year students of master's degree in their organization. They provide in all their relevant subject training for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months as per the requirements, and they make them before they join the organization in some service so that they can be able to perform the jobs nicely. So, for your information, sometime in short note or sometime in the questions, long questions, it may come what is meant by the annual performance appraisal, so that it is just you are writing, the concerned employee is writing, filling the appropriate form, providing the information, what jobs were allocated to him in the beginning, him or her, in the beginning of the financial year, and what those jobs, how he has performed, how the spreading of job was there, how he is able to perform that job without any constraints, or if he has felt constraint, list out those constraints, and the training he got, seminars he attended, and he or she, what whether he has made others trained, whether he has guided for any dissertation or any training to the students of higher classes. All those things are listed out in the annual performance appraisal, and that is sent to the immediate boss, and with his comments it goes to higher authorities. Remarks are given as whether it is outstanding, whether it is excellent, whether it is very good, whether it is good, satisfactory, or sometimes it is rather unsatisfactory. Then comments are written. Of course, if a person a job is found to be unsatisfactory, then it is not that only he has to be blamed. Find out why he is not able to perform the job satisfactorily, a person. Whether he needs any training, or whether his qualifications are not appropriate as per the job allocated to him, or he is not dedicated. Of course, once a person is not dedicated, in spite of having his good skills, having good training, still not performing well, then of course some remedial things are required, some action is required to be to set right that trend. And there are certain things. What are those things? What we can call what are the different jobs conducted by the HRD division? As I told, if you see in your study material in page numbers 95 to 97, you will find that HRD also provides the job analysis, job descriptions, how a job is to be performed, then job evaluation, whether the jobs done by the people, they are evaluated, and then finally the performance appraisal is prepared. Then there are, of course, different methods are there, different ways are there, how to the job analysis can be done, how job description can be prepared. So suppose you want to do the job analysis, then you have to follow the step-by-step procedure. You have to list out the step-by-step procedure for performing certain jobs. You have to prepare flow charts. You have to prepare specify the duties and responsibilities of each job, and a manual can be prepared giving the procedure how a job is to be. Suppose a book circulation system is there, what you have to do in a library. If you have to you are posted in the circulation counter, how you do the charging, discharging and other circulation duties at the counter, a manual can be prepared. Suppose somebody wants to get a book issued, the person will go to the rack who wants to get his issue. He may consult the catalog. He may find out the appropriate classification number, go to the rack, pick up the book, bring it to the circulation counter. Till this, the user himself will do. If required, he may take the assistance of library staff. And for issue, what is the procedure? He has to take out the book cards. Then a entry is made on the book card, name of the person, his ID number, the date on which book is issued, and the date on which book is due, and initials of the person. And on the due date slip, the stamp is put when the book is to be written. All such jobs are to be listed out. In acquisition section, people have to list out the jobs. Once a book comes, for which order is placed, he has to check the pages. Before checking pages, see that the right book is received, like whether if you ordered the edition, paperback edition or hardback book, hardbound book, then same thing is applied. Check the pages. There is no missing pages. There is no misprinting. There is no any kind of tearing of pages or some such things. Then what is next procedure? Make the entry in the accession register. Step by step, what details are to be entered in the accession register. Then once it is registered, how to pass the bill, put appropriate stamps, write accession number on the bill, put signatures on appropriate place, see that certificate is there properly, let's say latest price is given. Then pass on to technical section. There, book to be classified, book to be catalogued in cataloging section. After that, all appropriate labels are pasted and it is put in the maintenance section. Like that, each job analysis to be done how that job is to be performed, what things are required, what technology you have to use. Suppose you are food pasting barcode, how to take obtain the barcode using computer, how to paste that. If you are using RFID tags, how to insert those tags. Everything you have to list out, job analysis, job description, how that job is to be performed. The job which is analyzed, a particular job, what are the steps required, and then how it is to be performed. That is a part of what we call the uh, job description and job analysis, and same time evaluation. Suppose it is technical section, or it is technical processing like classification. How many books a person may be able to classify in a day? How many books can be entered in database or catalog cards be prepared? You have to evaluate accordingly whether the job is appropriately done or it is lying, and for just for 2 books person is taking 1 week. No, you have to analyze the job, evaluate the job, how much time it takes, how well it is performed. All those things are under job evaluation. And also, you have to find out under our what is the use of performance appraisal given, like what are the uses also, performance appraisal and performance appraisal. Then you have to see the task assigned, how those tasks are fulfilled, whether the person is suitable for further promotion or he requires any transfers or sometime termination if he is not dedicated, not doing the job, not performing. Then whether how to make the improvement, self-improvement. So all those things are there under the what we call job under human resource planning and job analysis, job planning, job description, etc. And if you see the human resource management in library and information centers, it is not different than other departments. Only the things you have to make them see that the proper persons are appointed. If those who are there, they are assigned proper job so that they are able to do all the appropriate things. Suppose you put a person who is from, I'm giving you example, a person who has of course, he has done BLSC, he has joined the organization, he is from, he has done his BA or MA in a subject, political science or sociology or economics. And if you are putting him in a section that is preparation of bibliographies for chemistry or science subjects, will he be able to do the proper job? No. If you are putting him in to make a person who has not, who doesn't know ABCD of computers, no training, nothing, you put him for making literature such in a particular subject area, science or arts, whatever it may be. Will he be able to do? No. You make him first trained, give proper training in computer so that he is able to work on computer, he is able to work on internet, he should have knowledge of different browsers, different search engines, and then he is able to decide the proper search terms, use either Google, use any other search engine, Bing, whatever it may be, or appropriate publishers' search engines, may use appropriate terms, search literature, and he will be able to provide a good list of available articles, good bibliography on a particular subject, because he is trained. So you should be able to decide these things. Who is the appropriate staff in the library to be used for particular person? I will tell you, when it was manual cataloging, classification, and other jobs were performed in the library, we used to find a person with very good handwriting. Then you make him trained so that he prepares a good catalog. He is able to prepare good entries of catalog. His handwriting is good. He is good, skilled worker. When it was a person, suppose you are using typing for preparing the catalog part, the person having good knowledge of typing, good speed, not committing mistakes, such person should be put to prepare the catalog cards using the typewriter. Or having good skills in computers, if you have got the computerized catalog, automated catalog, put such person so that he is able to correctly, without making mistakes, he is able to make entries. Even if there are corrections to be done, he will be able to perform it and put all the relevant information in the database so that the retrieval becomes easier. So you have to identify the skills of individuals before allocating the proper jobs to be performed by the individuals. So that requires planning, human power planning, that requires orientation to be given, and then you have to provide them. It is the duty of the librarian to see that his staff are aware of the modern methods of management, modern techniques in doing his job. For that purpose, from time to time, the head of the division should be able to send the persons for attending seminars, attending workshops, interacting with the people, and so that find out visiting other libraries, finding out how they are performing the jobs. Sometimes they may come to your library, sometimes you may have to go to other libraries. Find out what techniques they are adopting, whether they have got any new equipment, whether they are using any new technique, whether they are able to follow any new method. If they are following new method, you also adopt. Learn from them. Of course, they will be happy. They will be your professional colleagues. You in the seminars, definitely these such things, new things are always coming up. New techniques are coming, new methods. As I told last time, the consortiums have come. You have to join the consortia. You have to attend the meetings. You have to, of course, good relations are required, because in library you have to exchange the material, interlibrary loans, document delivery services, providing photocopies, providing full articles, online or offline, whatever it may be. So your staff should be trained to perform the jobs appropriately. And if you, sometime what happens, of course, if you see the page number of 104 of your study material, he says how many staff members should be deployed if there are 60,000 volumes, one person can manage classification, one person can do up to 2,000 volumes can be classified, cataloged in a year, or one can manage 1,000 periodicals, one person can manage. Ranganathan also has given statistics, but many things remain as theoretical. Practically, when you are going to do the jobs, join somewhere, the picture will be different. Of course, theoretically, you may have to learn. It says one person can circulate 1,500. For every 1,500 hours, one person is required for circulation. All those things, of course, theoretical are more, but practically you will learn when you join the job. In some organizations, of course, these things have become, I can say these things need to be updated. Because nowadays you are not doing the manual circulation. All membership tickets are having RFID tags, having your what we call other kinds of barcodes. You are issuing using computer, but you are able to do in no time. But all those things were of beginning. Nowadays, lot of changes have come, which you are required to adopt, depending on the new technologies, new things. Of course, you may have to study some of the things as a part of your historical studies. When you study for a particular course, we go back to the history. So it is also like that. You may have to study how the manually library can be managed. But practically when you join, you may find how things have changed from the previous times. Another thing is given is outsourcing. What is meant by outsourcing? If you are regular employee of an organization, naturally you are supposed to perform certain jobs. You are allocated certain duties to perform, and of course you may have to do. But sometimes what happens in reality also, and I will tell you the truth, in many universities, in many scientific organizations or public libraries, a person serves for many years, he retires. Many staff, lower staff or mid-level staff, they join, they perform, they retire. There is no replacement, no recruitment for years together. In many libraries, university libraries, there is no librarian to manage. Temporarily, somebody will be in charge, some professor will be in charge, no recruitment. In many scientific organizations also, it is happening the same thing. Okay, there used to be earlier, of course, I don't say that there should be 25 staff members in a library of an organization. Of course, earlier situation was, now we have got modern technology, at least 5 to 8 people, 10 people. But sometimes there will be only 2 persons in a library, 2 person, 3 person, 1 person. In colleges, single person managing. So under such situations, it becomes difficult to perform the jobs, get the appropriate and provide services nicely to the readers. What a single person can do. But in some of the organizations having money, they don't recruit the people, but they sometimes outsource the things. Outsourcing, giving a contract to some organization or contract to some individuals, or some individuals are hired on contract basis to perform certain jobs. And they will be doing their job and they can be removed from service any time. And of course, for example, I will tell you, in the organization where I was working, we have outsourced the reprography service. Sometimes we felt that though photocopying was required to be given to people, there was earlier the person who was doing that job, reprography job, he retired, no recruitment, but the service was required. So what is to be done? It was decided, let us outsource the service. Sometime only person is hired, machine is yours, and you are able to, the person works morning, whatever timings are there, morning 9 to 6:30 or 9:30 to 6, whatever it is there. He provides the service. You pay him the monthly salary, fixed salary, remuneration. Sometimes other firms are bringing their machines, Xerox machines, printers. They put in your organization. They may deploy a person or may not deploy, depends on situation. Photocopies can be taken, and if they are deploying a person, they will do the job of doing performance, that is taking photocopies, and at the end of the month, you see their meter reading, how many photocopies have been. Of course, you may have to watch, deploy your staff, see that how many copies are. Somebody has to sign the indent and all those things, and then he perform the job, provides photocopies, pay monthly, how many copies have been taken per paisa, per copy, how many paisas, and all those things, calculate, provide to that firm. Such services are outsourcing. Not only these reprography or printing and all, even INSDOC, can somebody tell what is INSDOC? INSDOC? Earlier, now it is NISCAIR, NISCAIR. Have you heard about INSDOC or not? Yes, please. Somebody? Yes? Rupan Raju, Saujanya, Mamta, have you heard about the institution? INSDOC or NISCAIR?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know? Okay. NISCAIR or the INSDOC is Indian National Scientific Documentation Center, which is located in New Delhi, and its name has been changed now as NISCAIR. It is under CSIR, National Institute of Information Resources, and that institute provides different kinds of services. They also earlier provided outsourcing services to the libraries. They will send the person in your organization. He will perform different duties. You may have to pay to him, and monthly, whatever fixed amount is there, they will classify the things, they will catalog the things, they will also circulate whatever is there. They may, whatever jobs are given to them in library field. Even now also, I have seen some time back, even the students who are studying for BLSC, they are put in the libraries as part-time jobbers. They do prepare the catalog cards by typing or whatever way. They are putting into information in databases, and they are paid based on number of entries they are making per day or per month. Such jobs are known as outsourcing, outsourcing of job. Here the definition is given by American Library of Association says the outsourcing means contracting to external companies or organizations functions that would otherwise be performed by library employee. Instead of getting the job done by the regular library staff, you are providing on contract to some other organization. Another person, Boss 1999, what he has told, it is given. Outsourcing is the contracting of activities to an outside individual or organization, which may be another publicly funded body in place of the use of in-house staff. So, what is outsourcing? Instead of providing the facilities to your users or to perform some tasks, instead of deploying your own staff, you are hiring an outside individual or an outside organization to perform that job, and by paying the appropriately to them some amount as whatever way it is required. Now, another unit is there apart from HRM, unit 6, financial management. Of course, it is very much important. Without money, you cannot do, you cannot have a library, you cannot have a building, you cannot have the equipment, you cannot have the documents, you cannot have the library staff. Money is required for everything. With money, you can hire staff, you can purchase documents, you can purchase building, you can purchase equipment, you can purchase furniture. So money is required as an essential, most essential component of providing library service. So you have to, of course, the service providers or the parent organizations who want to have a library in their organization, maybe a college, maybe a school, maybe a research organization, or maybe a public government funded, government required public library or government set up public library. Everywhere money is required. Without money, of course, money is required for our survival also, isn't it? In house also. Without money, we cannot purchase food, we cannot purchase clothing, we cannot have our house, we cannot rent our house. So money is required. So money has got its own value, and without that we cannot provide the service. Let us see how the finances or money comes to the library. What are the sources? Suppose if you consider a public library, in public library from where funds are received. A public library is, remember, what is a public library? Public library is set up by the public funds, by the government using public funds. It is for public. Of course, the service provided is free of cost, but the establishment of library requires some funds to be provided. And those funds come from what we call, in the case of public library, library cess is collected on the property tax. Whatever house you are owning, whatever property you are owning, you are paying to municipal corporation or government some tax every year, and on the tax amount, from 6% to 8% is collected as library cess, and that library cess is transferred to the Department of Public Libraries, through which it is, of course, in many cases, government provide matching funds. How much cess is collected? Suppose 2 crores cess is collected by municipal corporation for library. Government adds another 2 crores and matching fund and provides this to the public library so that library can purchase material, library can maintain the buildings, library can hire the personnel. Of course, in some of the departments, government pays for the salaries of the staff, but at least for the purchase of material, books, equipment, reprographic equipment or library management, furniture and equipment, they are purchased only through the allocated funds which are collected as cess. And sometimes some libraries get the amount through subscriptions. There are subscription libraries, and sometimes endowments will be there, donations will be there. You may be receiving funds from some philanthropies as donations. All those things also form, or sometimes material also is coming in gifts or donations. Of course, if it is not a public library, if it is an academic library, that is the educational institution. So if it is college, a school, of course, if it is a government school, government provides funds to the schools, and out of that some money is given for running library. If it is a university library, universities receive funds from University Grants Commission, and some parts of the grants received to the university, some percentage is passed on to the library authorities so that they can spend the money for running the university libraries. Of course, in case of the special libraries, the parental organizations under which the special libraries are running, that organization receives the annual funds, annual budget allocated by the respective parent body. Suppose if it is science, ICMR, ICAR, CSIR, DRDO, they are the appropriate bodies working under the ministries. They get funds allocated by these ministries. Finance ministries provide to Science and Technology Ministry. Science and Technology Ministry provides to these bodies. These bodies provide the funds to the respective organizations working under them, like CCMB, NGRI, or your NBRI, CDRI, drug research, whatever it may be, chemical laboratory under CSIR. Similarly, DRDO provides to defense organization, ICMR provides to agriculture ICAR, ICMR for medical organizations, medical institutions, and whatever funds are received to these institutions allocate a part, appropriate percentage of that grants budget received to the respective libraries so that they are able to manage the libraries, purchase the required documents. They will be purchasing the, of course, books. They may be subscribing to journals. They may be subscribing to databases. They may be subscribing to various kinds of electronic material, internet resources, and also deploying the staff in the libraries to provide services to the researchers in special libraries. So all these types of libraries, whether it is public library, whether it is academic library, whether it is special library, they require budgets to be allocated, and out of that they spend the appropriate amount for different services, different purchases to be made. Every year, libraries, every organization is asked by the respective ministries to provide the budget estimate in advance. The financial year starts from 1st April goes till 31st March of next year. So before the beginning of April, 2 months in advance itself, the budget estimates are prepared by the different departments, provided it to the organization. Budget estimates provide what is the recurring expenditure, what is one-time expenditure, and what is the what we call capital items required to be, capital budget to be required, and what is the non-capital items, consumables, non-consumables to be purchased. That estimates are prepared and then they are provided to the institutions, and in turn institutions provide to respective departments, including the libraries, to spend. So please mute, please. Please mute. There is some disturbance. Please mute. So, how the estimation of budget is done? How financial estimation is done? Many times, there are different methods based on which the budget estimates are prepared. Most relevant method is also what we call as per capita method. How many users are there? And depending upon the population, depending on the population to be served, based on that per capita, using the per head or per capita meeting financial requirements, the budgets can be prepared, or there can be proportional method, there can be other discussions in within the departments to prepare the budget estimates, how much you want for documents procurement, how much you want for traditional documents to be procured, and how much you want for electronic documents to be procured, how many for subscription. Subscription means again recurring expenditure, and then you may also have to find out, depending on the type of library, if it is a special library, some amount to be allocated for purchase of reprints, for paying for the what we call service charges to be paid to the publisher for publishing the articles in the journals. Nowadays, internet cess is collected from the authors for publishing. All those considerations are there, and depending on that, how much you want to spend for the acquiring new furniture, for paying for certain reprography, printing, internet, computer consumables, all those things are to be decided. And instead of going in some way, some say mechanical way, the requirement is to discuss in the department, discuss with the different sections of the library, and before the budget estimates are prepared, each and every service to be provided, each and type of material to be provided, everything to be listed out first, and how much amount is required for under each item for purchasing each item, that is to be estimated, and then final document is prepared, budget estimate document is prepared, and it is passed on to the finance department or the account section of the organization. And there is in many organizations there will be what we call PME sections, project monitoring and evaluation section, and there these sections will put up that there will be a budget committee in the organizations. They see that before it is passed on, and it is discussed with the accounts officer, and the budget estimates are prepared and sent to the respective ministries. Respective ministries means if it is science and technology, it is by the science technology ministry. If it is social sciences or rural industry, every organization prepares its own budget estimates and send it to the respective ministries. And you know, every year the budget meeting will be there in the parliament. Their broad figures for each subject, each broad only are prepared, and they are released by the finance ministry. And then suppose how much is allocated for science and technology, how much is for social sciences, how much for industries development, how much like that for railways, like that budgets are prepared, and the respective ministries take those amount, means the figures, and again it is passed on to respective parent body. Respective parent bodies allocate the amount to the organizations or the institutions, and based on a part is allocated to the what we call the budget, annual budget given to the library. Suppose you want, there will be certain types of budgets, budgeting methods given. Line by line budget is there, planning programming budget is there, zero-based budget is there, side budget is there. So here, suppose line by line budget, what it says, this is traditionally traditional way of preparing the budget. What they will do in line by line budget, it divides items of expenditure line by line into broad categories, like for books and other reading materials, salaries, allowances, utilities, maintenance, supplies, travel contingencies, etc. Suppose you want to attend some seminar, travel grants are there. Out of that given grant of travel exigencies, contingencies, you can use the fund and attend the conference, attend the workshop, get some training, etc. And there is a, say, a line, item by item, what we call allocation for the reading material, how much salaries are required for staff, how much maintenance, how much for service, how much for other types of things. And under what they tell, equipments, different types of equipment like typewriters, photocopying and all those things. Then renovation or remodeling of the library area. Then if any major constructions are like extension of building, etc. is required, for that separate special budget also is sometimes given for the extension of building, etc. That is, they are prepared and present, and separate approval is required for such things. Planning, another way is there, planning, programming and budgeting system, PPBS. This was given by the Charles Hitch in 61, and under this, programs are designed which require money, and then sometime it is 5 years programming is done in advance, how much money is required for next 5 years, management of information systems, etc. Here you can see it is given on page number 116, you can see. And of course, another is zero-based budgeting, where the everything starts from whatever past things are there that are closed, and it starts fresh, and we call it as zero budgeting. We have sometimes used in our organization also, but it requires certain exercises to be done before it is introduced. Under zero budgeting, what we do, we discard certain things which are not required, certain activities which we do not need. We remove those things, and freshly, as if a new organization is there, the budgets of the finance registers are prepared and they are shown. Okay, then certain things are there. Of course, we are studying about our Indian state system, but if you see, they have given that how much amount is spent by the library, different organizations, the libraries in different countries. Like in America, they say book periodicals, they spend 20% to 30% of budget, salaries 60%, utilities 4 to 5%, maintenance. Similarly, in United Kingdom, salaries get 50%, books periodicals 40%. So these are some of the statistics are given. Of course, we are much concerned with our own Indian system, and Dr. Ranganathan has suggested sorry, that about 50% of the budget goes for library salaries, staff salaries, another 40% goes for books and other reading material, and about 10% goes to miscellaneous. Similarly, for public libraries also, Ranganathan has given figures. It says 50% in all types of libraries goes to the salaries, and 20% in public libraries for books, periodicals 5%. Of course, in special libraries and university libraries, you have to spend more for periodicals and less for other, and you may have to plan for certain amount to be kept for binding of journals, binding of or repair of books, etc. And if you see in your study material, you may be finding certain formats of registers given. What registers are required to be kept statutorily, that is as per law. A library, of course, as we keep the, what is the, which is the register, which is very important for library and which you may have to keep till the library is there. Can somebody tell me the name of the register? Yeah. Just to try. If it is wrong, don't worry. I am there to correct you.
Ledger?
Ledger, of course, that is what we call budget register. But a register is there.
Names, amount to bills.
Expenditure, sir.
Balance.
1 minute. I will tell you. So,
income and expenditure.
Accession register is the register of capital item. That is, you till the time your library is there, you have to keep the records of the material documents, maybe electronic form or maybe in traditional form, whatever you are acquiring in a library, you may have to keep the accession register always. Okay. So that is the property register. Like whatever documents you are acquiring in the library, you may have to keep the record in account, this accession register. That is what we call the books acquired serially. Date by date it is recorded in that one. Okay. Apart from that, in a library, as far as finance is concerned, you may have to keep the cash register. You may have to keep the ledger, what we call the suppose you are purchasing books or subscribing to the journals. Now, from whom name of the vendor from whom you have purchased, you have to write the bill number or voucher number, and then you may have to keep the records of when you have passed that particular bill which is received from vendor, when you have sent it, and finally, nowadays it is by auditors also they say progressive total is very much important. Suppose first entry is for 5,000 rupees, another entry is 2,000, progressive expenditure becomes 700 or 7,000, then add another thing, add to that, like that progressive budget is to be, progressive payment amount is to be returned. If you see there, the registers given, it depends from organization to organization. There is a bill register which is important and it is maintained by all the libraries. That in bill register, what we write? We write the serial number, then we write the bill number with date, we write the name of publisher or seller who has supplied the book, then how much amount, and signature of the librarian and signature of the bill receiver in the account section. And allocation register, how much amount is allocated in the beginning of financial year. That also you have to prepare and keep, particularly university libraries, they are required to see with the library committee when it meets in the first beginning of the financial year, they allocate the amount depending on the number of students in a department, how many students are studying, and whether it is a science or arts department, how costly are the documents, or depending on the allocations are done. And in that one, you write the subject, you write the number of books purchased or to be purchased in the particular subject area, particular subject department, and you prepare the allocation register. If you see on 122 page number, you will find the name of the voucher, bill number, date, amount passed for payment, progressive total. It is just like the first one only, but only the thing there additional thing you find the subject or the department name is additional. Some organization prepare salary bill also, but all libraries like special libraries, we do not maintain any salary register. It is maintained by the directly by the uh, account section of the organization. We need not, because we don't worry about salaries separately. It comes from the salaries head. And another thing is there, the cash book, where the cash is handled. You suppose you are providing the service on payment basis. For example, if you are providing reprography, photocopying service on payment basis, you may have to make separate register writing that how much amount you have collected from whom, name of the person, how much he has paid, and at the end of the day, or as per the provisions of the organization, rules of organization, you pay it to the cashier. So that cash is not kept in the library. It is passed on to cash section or the account section. And also, sometimes you may have to keep the salary, not salary, sometimes you may have to keep a register separately for the other kinds of purchases made. Temporary, sometimes you purchase paper, sometimes you purchase some consumables. You have to maintain separate registers for the consumables. Another requirement of the financial requirement, of course, is there whatever amount is allocated by the government or the organization to the library, whatever you are purchasing from that budget amount, you, of course, you may have to prepare the separate, keep the separate registers for journal subscription, keep separate register for the expenditure done on books, expenditure done on electronic resources, and you may have to keep the files, not only registers, but you may have to keep files of correspondence done, order placed for books, order placed for subscriptions of journals, agreement signed on behalf of organization to acquire the electronic resources. The files are to be maintained, and then you may have to also, in addition to accession register, you may also have to maintain, if you are weeding out certain things, if you are doing annual stock verification, what are the losses, those registers have to be kept separately. Of course, there is a separate topic for stock verification, weeding out, etc. We will see there what type of registers are required. But as a part of finance, we are required to study the provision for audit. What is meant by audit? Audit is a process where the checking is done, where the checking is done by the auditors. They are deployed. There are in some of the organizations there will be two types of auditors. The respective organization also sends their own auditors, while government audit department is there. From there, auditors comes, and every year they examine in detail how much amount was allocated to each department, how much was allocated to library, and library there they will ask to produce certain evidences, certain documents that out of the allocated amount, what you have purchased is preserved in your library. It is not. It is properly recorded. Accession register is maintained. You have to show them the vouchers. There, or you may have to show them the bills you have paid appropriate amount as per the rules. Suppose subscription of the journals is there, you may have to pay based on the earlier it used to be based on the what we call a every bank rates, or it is given by the goods offices committee exchange rates, how much you have to pay for dollar, Indian rupee, how much you have to pay for the pound or yens or whatever Chinese currency, whatever is there, or you have to obtain it either from bank, or if based on goods offices committee circular, which is valid only for 1 month. Nowadays, of course, it is not followed by many organizations. We depend only the current exchange rate given by the banks. Every day, the rates change. It is, if you see the pounds, how much, whether it is going up or going down, depending on sometime you are required to make changes. There was, for your information, devaluation of currency. Whenever there is such devaluation of currency, and if you are required to pay subscriptions to foreign countries, you may have to pay much more amount, much more Indian currency to get the things from outside countries, from outside publishers like elsewhere, Springer or some societies, etc. So either at that time you may have to prepare the budget estimates. Every year, keep in mind that when you are asking for budgets for the subscriptions of periodicals, at that time you may have to keep these things in mind, that there may be rate increase by the publisher, or sometime there may be changes in the currency exchange rates. And suddenly if devaluation takes place, you may have to, your budget will not be sufficient. You may have to get additional funds, request for additional funds. One more thing is there, in many organizations, you are required to defend the budget requirements which you have given. Suppose you ask, you are telling that you want for journal subscription some 50 lakhs rupees. Then the sometime budget committee will be there, sometime the finance department itself in the organization asks why you need so much amount. Then you have to defend your requirements which you have given, telling that yes, because you show the statistics that how journals are used, how they are used by the people, how your institute's publications are growing, your people are publishing articles because they are using it. Show the statistics of usage and say yes, these resources are required and we may have to purchase. How the cost of exchange is going up, how the rates of the documents, rates of the subscriptions are going up. You have to show it based on the giving previous 2-3 years records, how it has changed, and defend that what you are asking to the finance department to provide is not just based on the appropriate figures, but what you have given is genuine. It is required. That is what we call defending of the budget required. So, like that, every year, carefully a librarian is required to assess the financial needs, discuss with each section of the library their requirements. He should have an idea that how much amount is required for purchasing a consumable for reprography, how much paper is required for printing of articles, how much it is required to pay for internet resources, how much it is required to pay for the traditional resources or print resources, and then how much it is required to provide for certain services to be obtained from outside organizations. Like sometime you may require to pay for getting some translation done from outside. You may have to pay to other organizations for obtaining the documents on document delivery service. So how much you should pay, get allocated, how much you have to pay for the what we call reprints, how much you are required to pay for as a pay charges for publications, if it is a special organization or university library, how much you are required to pay as pay charges to the publishers for the articles to be published by your researchers, your staff, your faculty in the university. So all these will have impact on the preparation of budget. So these are some of the things which are required, and you have got, of course, certain things I would like to add here. Next unit is there in your study material given as the library statistics. Some of the of course, this is general, but and also it is given annual report. What kind of, why we need statistics in the library to be kept? It will help us to find out. Library provides you an overall picture of your library. For example, if you are preparing a register for visitors, whoever is entering the library, he has to put his name, put the time when he is coming. It will give you the an overall picture of how many people visited the library, to how many users you are providing the service. Then statistics can be there for how much amount budget is allocated to you. Keep a statistic year-wise. Suppose your library is there for last 30 years, how the budget is allocated every year for books, for journals, for other items. That statistics keep. It shows you can prepare the graphs also based on the statistics. You can also see the how much you have, how many books you have acquired out of the allocated budget year-wise. How many printed books, how many electronic resources, how many journals you have subscribed, how many books you have acquired on each subject, how many on physics, how many on chemistry, how many on botany, how many on economics, how many on political science. So it provides you at a glance the information about the resources spent and the resources obtained, books purchased. Then you can keep the statistics of how many books are circulation statistics? How many books are issued out? How many books are returned every day? How many books are in issue of a particular subject area? Botany books, how many? Chemistry books, how many? So where you will come to know that what is the usage of material, which books are used more, which books are used less, where you are lacking, where people are, which area of library people are not using much, which portion of the or which subject of books are used more, where you want to add more things, where you want to popularize more things. Statistics gives you a very good at a glance idea that if you see the sometimes you are keeping the statistics. If you see your page number 129 of library statistics, you will find the specimen routine form. In there they are writing from accession number 00 to 99, 100 to this, and then they are writing by purchase, books, periodicals, others, and by exchange, how much you received, how many gifts you have received, what are the things others you have written. And then you can see the other form where number of periodicals you are receiving, specimen routine form is there prepared, statistics for classification work, how many books you have classified on a subject wise or on a particular day, statistics of cataloging work done, visitors attendance registers, visitors in academic libraries or public libraries or special libraries, and how many members are there, how many books, membership tickets you have issued, and how many members are there on roll, how many members are leaving the organization after completion of their course, how many are retiring, how many are joining. All these statistics you may have to prepare. And suppose if you are providing the indexing service, providing abstracting service, providing document service, then you can prepare the subject wise, how many periodicals have been indexed, how many articles are abstracted, how many articles are reproduced, all those things, and expenditure of income, statistics of income and expenditure, staff statistics, all those things are tables you have to prepare, compile and prepare. And sometime you might have seen in some of the libraries near the circulation counter, there is a board there, they will write that how many books are there total, how many books are subject wise, how many members are there, how many say arts books, how many science books, how many commerce books. And you can prepare, if you want to prepare the annual report of the organization, there you have to prepare the bar charts, you have to prepare certain the graphs and show this, how the progress of acquisition is going on now, how you are getting budget. So all those things are given in this statistics, and these things sometimes are presented through the annual reports of the organization, though it is a kind of what section where you have to collect the statistics and compile the things, compile the information, that is that which you can report in the annual report of the organization. So any other, before I close, I would like to ask you any doubts or any clarification you need, please tell. You read your notes. Some of the things are only are for representation. There you need not go for various forms of expenditure, etc. They are all only to be kept by the libraries, but not of theoretical nature and all. So please Tell me if any question you want to put, or if you want any clarification. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
what is accession register?
Sir.
Your voice is not clear. Please tell me slowly. What is there? Yeah, Mamta.
Pre-capture method, sir. PER.
What you are telling?
Capture method, sir.
Capital head.
Method.
Method, sir.
Actually, I will tell you, capital head method, normally what happens, no? Suppose an organization is there, okay? There one library is there. So, how many people you are serving? How many people you are serving based on per individual, how much amount is to be spent? That is based on what we call per capita or per head expenditure. Or if you want to make the budget estimate based on that, how many people you are serving, based on that per person, this much amount is to be asked for preparation of budget estimate. That is the only thing there. Per capita means per person, per head. Yes. Anything else?
Sir, side
What
budget.
is accession register?
Pardon?
What
Side
is
budget.
accession register?
Size budget. Site budget.
Yes, sir.
Sometime I will, 1 minute.
Page number 117, sir.
Okay, I'm checking. 1 minute where it is. Yeah, it is also same way. Side budget, what it says, this budgeting system ensures that everyone who is to be served will have access to equal services. The goal of side budgeting is equal funding to each reader and equitable distribution to each unit branch within a system. So, for example, if a library is there, okay, it has got the branch. Suppose Usmania University library, main library is there. It has got the branch library in each department. So there should be equal opportunity, equal allocation of funds to each department, each section of the library. Suppose branch libraries are there, geology library, zoology library, botany library, they should get the equal things. The goal of this site budgeting, what it says, is equal funding to each reader and equitable distribution to each unit or branch within a system. Whatever amount is coming, it should be properly distributed to each section, each reader. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Any other thing?
Sir, what is accession register, sir?
Accession register is a register in which whatever documents you are procuring, whatever books you are procuring, purchasing, is recorded day-wise. It is the serially acquired book. Suppose you put in the accession register today 157, accession number 157, and then you are writing the title, date of purchase, author, title of the book, edition, all those information. That means it is a property register of the library. Whatever you are acquiring in the, whatever books you are acquiring in the library, they are listed out day-wise. So today, you suppose you have got 200 books. Tomorrow, when you are opening that register and adding some 5 books, 201, 203, 204, like that, you are adding to it. So, accession register is the documents or property register or assets register of the library, where you list all the documents.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell me how many number of columns in that register, sir?
I will tell you. A accession register will have the columns. First column will be the serial number. Next column will be the date of acquisition, accession number, authors, title, edition, publisher name, then place of publication, year of publication, number of pages, number of volumes, then supplier, name of the supplier, invoice number, invoice date, price of the document, and finally the price of the book, including the discount allowed. And final column will have the signature of the librarian. So many columns will be there in the accession register.
Sir, once again, list of the columns, sir.
Sir, can you tell me the number, sir? How many? 12,
Column?
14, 16, 18? Like.
There is no fixed rule like that. There should be 14 or 15 or 20. But which I have told, no, it should cover all these number of items. Authors, title, edition. Yeah, all you can see. Rather, if you want, I can show. But there is no such rule as such that so many columns should be there and all. But minimum requirement is there. It should have the date of acquisition, accession number, title, authors, title, edition, then your
Publisher,
year of publication, then place of publication, total number of pages, preliminary as well as other secondary. Then who supplied the book, invoice number, invoice date, price of the book, discount allowed, and the signature of the librarian. These are some of the required columns. If you want, just see your page number 201.
201. Yes, sir.
What is given?
Yes, sir.
Illustration of entries of accession number.
Okay, sir.
You are seeing date, accession number, author, title, edition, year, publisher, source. Source means name of who supplied, cost, call number, remarks. But in our organization, we have added some more columns to this. There is no such, but these are minimum required columns. You can add some more, like signature of the librarian, or you can also add number of pages are not given here. You are seeing, but in our organization, many ready-made registers are available with the library vendors, and you will find the number of pages to that document, number of volumes to the documents, all that information. Series, it is not missing here. It is an illustration only. Illustration means just for example sake. But it can have, what we will do in our library, there will be 2-page register. When you open the book, both sides, both the pages are covered for single entry. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other, before I close, any other doubt? If not, then I will close and we will discuss in next class unit number 8 and 9, book selection and acquisition, and selection and acquisition of electronic resources. Okay?
Sir, in public library, there is an endowment which we are not following in India.
Endowment,
Okay.
no?
Yes, sir.
Endowment
Once
is,
can you...
it is donation. Donation given by certain things. Suppose I have got some money. Okay. When I become old, I want to donate it. So I will take here, even in India, government has established Raja Ram Mohan Rai funding system. There also they are giving. But endowment means it is, I want to give my money for the development of a particular organization. So that system also is there, followed endowment.
So actually they mentioned in India we are not following the system. So
they have written, but there are certain endowments still it is there. Yeah. It is a funds given by somebody. Suppose I own my fund, I don't want to give to my own family. What I will do? That money is passed on to some organization, some library for its development. That kind of thing, endowment. Okay.
so as a librarian, we must maintain the notes or records for this endowment donation or everything, sir.
Yeah, if it is there, definitely if you are getting endowment funds, then you have to keep record. Otherwise, not required. Okay. It is
Okay,
when
sir.
followed, then there is no need. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.